Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Northeast Current. I'm Charlie Charlesworth, your host. Today, we have some old friends here. We've been together several years in a row now. We're going to be talking about the Heritage Explorer Bike Tour. We're also going to be talking about the Heritage Valley Partnership. And we're joined here today with Owen Worsbit and the Executive Director of the HVP, Natalie Gill. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I guess we'll start with the bike tour. And
Sure.
We'll start with Owen. The bike tour is Saturday, June the 15th. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how they're going to register and what programs you're going to have for the people?
Sure. The bike tour this year is June 15th. It's becoming a Father's Day tradition. We're now in our 4th year, and each year we're continuing to see it grow. Last year we had about 650 people registered. This year we're hoping to get about closer to 800. So there's a couple different ways you could register. You can register online through active.com up until June 10th, or you can register the day of. We are going to have day of registration. You just have to show up a little earlier than as if you had already registered. Registration opens at 7 o'clock up in the Blakely Borough Recreation Complex up in Peckville.
I'm glad you said that.
And it opens at 7 a.m. and we're encouraging the people who want to go the further distances, like the 44-mile ride or the 22-mile ride, to show up a little earlier, because we're going to try to get the riders going off on the longer distances. So we're going to try to get them out of the park as early as we could. But we're starting the actual rides at 8 o'clock, and we're going to send them off periodically after that. So you can still register online through active.com until June 10th, or you could register in person at the event.
Now, again, for people who may not know where the Blakely Borough Recreation Complex is, it was formerly known as the Mellow Park.
Yes.
Now, you're going to have staggered start times for people, and you want to explain why you're doing that?
Yeah, the reason we do the staggered starts is because it's all different types of cyclists that we'll get. We'll have the people who want to do 100 miles if we'd let them, but we also have little kids that only want to, they're not capable of going more than 5 miles. So we try to base it on your actual level of, your level of expertise in biking. So the people who are, the more advanced bikers, we try to get them out of the park and up on the trail so that they don't have to, share the trail with people who may be a little more novice than them. So if they want to take off and go, then they have the opportunity to do that first. So that's why we try to get them out of the park around 8 o'clock. And then periodically after that, we'll be sending out other groups. And the last groups that we'll be sending out are around 10 o'clock, and those are mostly the younger kids. We're talking,
or the older kids.
Or the older kids. We're doing the younger or the older. They'll be heading out around 10 o'clock.
Now, regardless of your expertise in riding, helmets are required?
Yes.
Okay.
Helmets are required, and this year you'll have to bring your own. Unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to provide everybody with helmets as we had in the past a couple of times. But this year everybody has to wear a helmet and they have to bring their own helmets. So that's something a little new for this year, but we're really stressing that fact.
Okay. Now, I know my wife had mentioned to me, can we rent a bicycle to ride the trail? Is there any capabilities for people to rent bicycles?
I don't think we're going to be doing that this year.
Okay.
We had tried that in the past, but we didn't really promote it the way we were hoping to. And this year, we're not at that phase yet. Hopefully next year you'll be able to come and rent a bike, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that for this year. It's very complicated when you're working with a lot of the different partners who are able to provide bikes. We try to get that out in advance, but it's a very difficult process. So this year, once again, we're not going to be able to rent bikes to people. So.
But we do have some new bike shops that are interested in starting to rent bikes. It's one of our frustrations, I think, in general, not just for the bike tour. It's not always easy to rent a bike in Scranton, but I think that's changed, and there will be an opportunity for you to rent bikes. Even people who visit from out of town, we've talked to the hotels a little bit about that, trying to encourage them maybe to buy some bikes for their patrons. So that could change, Charlie.
Yeah, good, that's great. This is a whole lot more than just a bike tour. I've been there for the last 2 years, and I'm really impressed with how it's growing. We've got a lot of other activities going on. You want to talk about those?
Yeah. As the bike tour has been growing and evolving, we've been bringing in more and more volunteers, yourself included, who aren't necessarily bikers, but they have their own interests and they want to be able to promote their organizations they're involved in, promote different activities that they like. So we have a lot of different stuff that is going to be able to be seen at the bike tour. We have the local library system will be doing a bike rodeo where we're going to, once again, that's a little more bike related, but we're going to have an obstacle course set up for kids. There's the Penn State Master Gardeners. They're going to be setting up a mini golf course for kids. So there's a whole bunch of different stuff that we're trying out this year. We're going to be doing some more educational demonstrations. We started that up last year. This year we're going to be continuing to move with that theme, just so that there's a lot for families to do. Because when I was talking earlier, those guys who were going out on that long ride, they won't be getting back until later in the afternoon. But for the families that are maybe going only 5 miles, they'll be gone for an hour and then they come back, and there's so much going on. There's all these different activities that kids could participate in. We have live music. We're going to have more entertainment as far as face painters and jugglers and balloon making guys. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff going on for the whole family, not just for the bicyclists. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
It is a festival as well. It's the bike tour and festival, which has been added the last couple of years, and that's what's growing so much.
Yep.
Food.
Food.
My favorite. There's going to be plenty of food there.
There's going to be plenty of food.
And you know, Natalie, we had a conversation about the Lackawanna Heritage Valley. And the Lackawanna Heritage Valley is not just the trail.
Correct.
It's the valley, it's the river, it's the heritage.
It's all of our
background.
resources. Exactly, Charlie. And we've been emphasizing that because some people know us as Lackawanna Heritage Valley Authority, which is our management entity, and the board, it's a municipal authority that runs the operation. But Lackawanna Heritage Valley is who we are. We're a national and state heritage area, and that encompasses all of our resources, and from ridgetop to ridgetop, not only the river, but the lakes, the streams, the parks, and all our historic and cultural sites as well. We're very proud of the trail. It's our premier project, and it's the most tangible thing that we can say about ourselves. We're building this trail, but we do a lot of other things. We work with so many of our historic sites and our educational institutions and our cultural sites, and we sponsor programs and help them sponsor programs, create collaborations and projects that put all these various resources together. And the trail, as well as all of these sites, create tremendous economic development opportunities for the area. And at the bottom line, I like to say we are about community and economic development. Owen is our community outreach coordinator. He has brought in dozens and hundreds now of volunteers over the last few years. This event started with Leadership Lackawanna as a project, and it was taken over by our volunteers. We've become much more volunteer driven, and we have formed an organization called Heritage Valley Partners, which is actually sponsoring this tour. It's a Lackawanna Heritage Valley event, but it's sponsored by Heritage Valley Partners, Inc., which is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. So any proceeds from this event go to the not-for-profit to develop the trail. And they support all the activities of Lackawanna Heritage Valley. It's ironic because we've been promoting the trail for so many years, and we now have a critical mass. People are understanding more about where it is, what it is. It's growing, all the gaps are being closed, and it's being used by so many more people. It's exciting. But we also don't want to lose sight of all the other things we do to promote the heritage of this area and the great industrial past. And we consider the trail as a linear interpretive park as well as a recreational and social and health and wellness trail and the connector of communities. We connect the trail eventually will connect 30 municipalities in Lackawanna County alone, and overlapping into Luzerne, Susquehanna, and a little bit of Wayne County.
I think probably the best thing that I've seen that explains what the Lackawanna Heritage Valley is was that the wonderful documentary that is available
It's
at
still
the
available.
at the LHVA. LHV.
Well, the LHVA office is
No,
appropriate.
it's
It
called,
knows where our offices are.
It's called
Legacy.
Legacy.
The history of the Lackawanna Heritage Valley, because the Lackawanna Heritage Valley was the first state heritage area in Pennsylvania. There are now 12, and we're one of 49 national heritage areas, and that was a designation that came later. But 2 years ago, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of being named the first Pennsylvania state heritage area, and this wonderful documentary was created that tells about how it came into being, all the things we do, and why we are so proud of who we are, where we came from.
I enjoyed that. I mean, whenever people ask me about the Lackawanna Valley, I buy a copy and I send them that
Well, that's
copy and say,
great.
this explains
Wish
it.
everybody would do that, because there's so many people that we lament we've lost so many of our young people. And I see it as a full circle, because a lot of people are coming back and more young people are staying, I believe, because they're starting to appreciate, have this sense of place about there's something really special about this community and all the communities within the Lackawanna Heritage Valley. But so many of us have relatives out of town, and they love watching that video.
Yes.
And they just can't believe all there is here. Even with our ambassadors program, as you know, we do ambassadors tours where we take people on a day-long tour, sort of be a tourist in your own hometown. And all of us, I think every one of us who have done that, have learned things we didn't know about this area, and there's so much to be proud of.
And it's all volunteer driven.
Particularly the bike tour, but all of this, we are now looking for partners. We have Heritage Valley partners now. Our funding has become very challenging, as has most funding for a variety of causes, and resources are scarce.
And we're talking cutbacks in federal funding,
and
state
funding. We
Right.
we are a county municipal authority, but we're not in the county budget. We're not funded by the Lackawanna County. Lackawanna County is very supportive and partners with us and backs us in all the things that we do. And it is part of the economic development efforts of the commissioners and of this county. But our funding came mainly from the National Park Service at the national level, and from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources at the state level. But at every level, it's been cut. And actually, the legislation that designated us as a heritage area at the national level will never go away, but the authority to receive money, the authorization to receive funding, is expiring this next year. And so we are looking to get an extension of that authorization. We'll always be a heritage area, but we may not be a funded heritage area. So we're looking to be more creative, and really this is a public-private partnership, and to have to take advantage of that private part of the partnership to get funding for the community. The trail is a tremendous asset to the community, and it should be viewed as such, I think, because it doesn't only enhance the quality of life, but as I said, it's a very strong economic development engine. But we have created an organization called Heritage Valley Partners, and we are asking people to become heritage partners by becoming members of the Heritage Valley Partner Organization to support the Lackawanna Heritage Valley and everything that we do here.
Oh, and real quick, let's go over, people want to contact, more information on the bike tour.
Well, you can find out more about the bike tour at heritageexplorer.org. That's on the web, or you can call our offices, 963-6730, extension 8200, and that's where you can find out more information about how you can register and what's going to be going on at the festival, as far as what bands we have playing, what vendors are going to be there. It's probably the best way to find out about that.
All right. Now, you at home there's only one way that, well, several ways that things like this can be achieved, and that is through your volunteer dollars by becoming a Heritage Partner.
Heritage Valley Partner.
Heritage Valley Partner, and then also the rolling of the stones and the turning of logs and the work on the trail. We have the ambassador, the trail ambassadors, which if you contact on, you can find out about that. We're going to take a little break now, and we'll be right back.